Thank you so much for downloading the episode today. On the show, I'm talking about my conundrum with pillows and how much of a princess I am. Also, Paula has a harrowing experience with some bloodletting and her children. We also talk about the terrible twos and how much we really didn't hate it, but we understood it. That and your H-Uglee and Awkward Moments of the week. Thank you so much. Enjoy the show.
It's another uncensored look at the world around you, from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie?
Why can't I just do it normal like everyone else?
Paula?
When you have kids, unfortunately, they do come first.
Uncensored as always, it's time for the ugly truth.
Welcome to The Ugly Truth. I believe this is episode 341. Your nasal passages are clogged with a cold, so you can't do your ugh.
No, I cannot. I have a wee bit of a cold. But it's okay, because we are still Sisters Who Podcast.
Yes, we are. Okay, so I have been dealing with this conundrum for almost 2 years.
A conundrum, huh?
It's about as princess problem as you can get. I can't seem to find a satisfying pillow to sleep on.
You know, I'm not going to lie. I've been going through the same thing. I'm currently sleeping on the MyPillow, and it hurts my neck. I don't like it.
Paula, okay, so I don't know if you remember this. This was years ago. Not years ago, but remember when Daryl and I went to the iHeartMedia Festival and we stayed at the Aria, where you and I stayed, and we were so in love with their pillows that I actually purchased a pillow from the Aria Hotel and had it shipped to me.
Yeah.
It was the best pillow I had ever had. So it shipped it to me. And I have been trying to make this thing last for as long as possible because it's so comfortable. Well, it's dead. It's over. You know, it's been needing to I have been having to get rid of it for probably a year, but I've just been clinging to it because I'm like, God, if I can just fluff it up in the dryer or anything to kind of rejuvenate it. But ultimately things break down and pillows don't last forever. I mean, you know, it's so funny when you see little kids with their favorite pillow and they look like a slice of bread. They're so thin.
Really.
I don't know
like
why.
The heel.
Yeah. It's like why they just cling to these pillows and try to getting rid of it. It's impossible. They don't want to. I'm like, you're sleeping on nothing. We need to get you a new pillow. So it was kind of like that. And I said, all right, it's time to let it go. So I have purchased pillows. Now, I don't mind. I usually buy pillows at like TJ Maxx or Ross or Marshall's because you can get a Ralph Lauren or a Calvin Klein. The problem is that you can't buy two of the same usually. Or if you do, they're super cheap or something. And so I do have pillows like that I got really lucky. So I told Daryl, I said, I can't sleep on this Aria pillow anymore. I'm literally sleeping on like fabric. It's gone. And I said, so let's go. So I Googled where we should buy good pillows. And I said, let's just spend the money and get the good pillows. So we went to Bed Bath & Beyond. And went through, and they have like a variety of pillow section, just a million options. And so we went in. Now, I personally like down feather pillows, but they're becoming harder and harder to find because people don't want to pluck the goose feathers or something. Everybody's getting
and it's an it's an allergy thing, and
sure. So they're hard to find, and when you do find them, they're ridiculously expensive. Because they're, you know, you have to like actually pluck the feathers and stuff, I guess. I don't know how they do that.
Remember when we were little, we used to have those, and then like that was a bonus. We would pluck the feather and rub our nose with it.
I know. It was a comfort in our treacherous childhood.
Yeah, really. We're just like, go to bed, like rubbing our nose with the feather.
Yes, as if we slept in cages and just would comfort ourselves with a single down feather to get through the hell. So we go to Bed Bath & Beyond, and I said, I am not spending $130 on a fucking pillow. It's not happening. Even if I could afford it, that seems outrageous to me. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm like, this is on sale? And I was just getting out, and I'm like, and I'm feeling it going, this doesn't even feel worth it.
So do you guys do the thing where like you lay your head while it's in the bin, or do you hold it in your hands and like lay your head on it?
I really don't like to do that because I don't know how many people have put their faces on those things.
So how can you get a good feel of...
Well, I just squeeze it and I feel it, like they have these little openings on the side of the plastic that you can feel to see how thick or whatever. So I'll do that, but I'll stick my whole hand in so that I don't have to touch where everyone else has touched. God, I feel like, what am I, a germaphobe now? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, okay, Howie Mandel.
I was just going to say, I'm going to show up bald one day. You're going to be like, what happened? You're like, I couldn't handle it anymore. The germs.
You're going to carry surgical gloves in your hand or in your purse.
Seriously. So, I mean, don't you kick the plunger on public toilets? Don't you use your leg instead?
Did you see the meme I posted the other day about public restrooms?
No. What did it say? I love memes. What did it say?
They said, like, nothing will put paralyzing anxiety in someone who, when you're in a public restroom and someone repeatedly starts shaking the door handle to try and get in because, a locked door isn't sign enough that someone's in there.
I hate that. And it does happen. You're like, occupado! Although I'm not that nice. I'm like, hey! Did I tell you about the time that I literally just flung a bathroom door open and a woman was standing with her pants down? It was
Lock
at a
the
winery.
Damn door. God.
I know. It was at a winery and I was a little bit drunk and I walked in and I had to urinate really bad. And when there's urgency, you don't go knock, knock, knock. You're just like, open door. So I violently flung it open and she's standing there and she looks like a model, which I can recall. And it was like, oh my God, you look good naked. I hate you. But I open up the door. I'm like, oh my God. She's like, it's okay. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Cause you look like you have perfect person.
Perfect electrolysis pussy. And
well, she had underwear on, but I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yes. Well, she was practically nude, but anyway, I mean, pants down.
I got
And so it's like, I'm sorry. And so I'm like, oh my God. And of course I can't let it lie. So I'm in the other urinal going, I'm really sorry about that. You look great.
Oh God, Jamie. Just stop talking.
I know. It's impossible. So we're going through looking at pillows and I'm feeling them all. And so I said, well, these look okay. And I don't want one of those memory foam pillows. So don't even ask. I refuse. Those
Victor
feel weird.
has one of those. Yeah.
They're
I don't.
Weird.
It's like a brick, but I mean, it is comfortable.
Is it? I feel like it's like that green plant foam that you use to make arrangements.
I know.
I don't like when they're wet. It's just icky. I just can't imagine putting my body on one. Ugh. So, especially those memory foam mattresses, same thing. I knew someone who got one. They're like, oh, it's so comfortable. Like, I don't know, man. This feels like a marshmallow.
Well, you can't get the cheap ones that are just like, oh, we have one of those egg crate things. And I'm like, I'm not putting anything with the word egg crate on it.
On my body.
On my bed.
Exactly.
Weird.
Maybe even the dogs. But
we're not eggs.
Yeah.
We're people.
It's weird. So I said, well, these aren't bad. And they were like $50 a piece. Now that to me is expensive.
For a pillow, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there were $100 ones. And I said, well, I don't see the difference. I don't understand. I said, and I'm not paying something because it's allergy free or whatever, the weird filters in it and all that garbage.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about any of that. So I'm feeling it going, okay, it's not real down because those are impossible to find, but it feels like it. And I said, okay, well, maybe I can do this. And now, because of technology, there's pillows for side sleepers and people who sleep on their back and all that stuff. I mean, I never cared about any of that stuff. So I'm like, whatever, just this one feels good. And so we got it. So we put them on our bed, time to go to bed. And I feel like I'm laying on a giant bubble. It's so full and round and it doesn't I can't depress into it. Like I can't snoodle into it. I feel like I'm just laying on the top of a ball of fabric.
It doesn't cradle your whole head.
No, I tried for 2 days to sleep on. I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is a side sleeper. So maybe I'll sleep on my side and it'll work better. No, I just woke up with a neck cramp.
Oh.
And I said, I'm so frustrated. I said, I almost want to take these back. I'm so mad, but I don't think you can take pillows back.
It's like trying to return underwear. I don't know.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I don't need this box of tampons anymore. It's
right.
I don't know.
These didn't work very well.
No. So then I'm thrashing and I'm violently flinging pillows and linens in the middle of the night. And I said, I feel like such a princess, but I can't sleep on these pillows. What are we going to do? What are we doing? And it's like so anxiety.
Why didn't you just order the Aria ones again?
Well, you and I stayed at the Aria not too long ago, and they've changed the pillow.
Oh.
So I thought that, and I thought, Well, first of all, if you recall, they're practically squares now. They're not long anymore. They give you like 5, if you remember.
Yeah, there was a lot of pillows.
Yeah, because they're half the size of a queen size pillow, because for whatever reason, I don't know. And so I'm like, well, they were comfortable, but I don't remember going, God, I remember this pillow. No, they were different. And so, yeah, I'm just still on the hunt. And I hate it because I feel like, first world problem kind of thing.
Sure.
I hate it. It's like, can't you just deal? I mean, do you know how many people would love to have that giant ball of fabric? I don't know.
Probably reuse it to make clothing or something. And
I feel tremendous guilt when I complain about things like, this pillow is too full. It just seems so spoiled first world person.
Well, I mean, so donate the other pillows then, to a halfway house or something. Or they'll be like, gee, thanks for your used pillows.
I know. So anyway, with all that being said and done, I have yet to find a pillow.
Well, maybe you should try like Macy's or Nordstrom.
Maybe. I resent. Maybe I'll just go to TJ Maxx and find the pillow. I mean, that's really the most success I've ever had. I just didn't realize that I had such a particular flavor for pillows.
Well, I think as you get older, it makes a difference.
Oh, shut up. That is not it.
I'm saying with me, like I've noticed with this stupid pillow that I bought, and the reason why I bought it is because I couldn't find a pillow that was working and my neck hurt and it causes headaches.
Okay, good. So maybe it's just us.
I don't know, but the only way to successfully sleep on this pillow is I have to put a little bit of my shoulders on it.
Oh, that's annoying.
Well, it is.
It's annoying having to accommodate something. It's like, can something just go? For example, last night, okay, so Daryl's in Houston. He's been in Houston all week. So Malia and I are on our own. And, I make dinner every night for the most part. But last night, I just didn't feel it. Malia was exhausted. And I said, you want to just get like takeout? She goes, yeah, but I don't want like real fast food. I want some like level up fast food. And I said, okay, I go like Adalberto's, which is Mexican. That's not Taco Bell. It's actually real Mexican food.
Yeah.
And I said, God, it's like 5:00. So it's early, but I don't want to go and battle traffic to get it. So I have never used DoorDash in my life. I've never used it. It's an app where they'll deliver food for you. Uh-huh. But it's becoming really popular here. And DoorDash, though, used to be like just McDonald's, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I go on, I download the app and I set up an account, and Adalberto's now delivers.
Wow.
And I said, oh my God, so maybe I'll do it. And I said, Malia, DoorDash delivers Adalberto. She goes, oh my God. So I get it all set up and I'm like, I can't believe I did it. I don't do technology. I don't do apps, nothing. So I said, well, this is so exciting. Now, Daryl's used DoorDash before for us when it was late at night or whatever, and maybe we'd had a cocktail and we didn't want to drive. Mm-hmm. And so I get a text message. We received your order. And then I get another text message. Did you want chicken or beef on those taquitos? And then I get another, okay, they're on their way. And then I get a text message from the driver. I'm at the gated community in which you live. How do I get in? And I'm like, well, for starters, I don't live in a gated community. So you've gone to the wrong place. It was an hour of constant texting.
Are you kidding me?
I had to give the driver directions to my house, even though they have GPS. And, no stereotype or anything. It was a girl.
Oh, God.
So she's like, I think the GPS is just being dumb. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. So now we're friends. LOL. Now we're friends chatting. Mm-hmm. So she finally comes to the door and we get the food. And I still gave her 5 stars because who am I to keep someone from getting a job? And they're obviously doing it for money, So I gave her 5 stars. And I tipped her and everything. But I said, why can't anything just be normal? Why can't I just make the order and 20 minutes later it arrives to some person who doesn't speak and just gives it to me and walks away? Like, why does it have to be an ordeal? It was a whole thing. It was like, why can't I just do it normal like everyone else?
I don't know. I mean, who knows where she was coming from to, get the Adalbertos. I mean, she could have been somewhere a little bit further. I don't know.
This is what I get, though, for being lazy. I should have just gotten up and driven the 3 miles, dealt with the commute traffic, and just picked it up myself. Anyway. All right. So enough about me and my spoiled ass. Let's hear about the great bloodletting of 2019.
God.
With your son and your daughter in tow. Now, I assume you haven't heard there's nothing to discuss as far as why Ryan needed blood work.
Well, we got the results and nobody has mono. So that was the big concern that, you know, because everyone has been sick for like months. And
yes.
Excuse me.
You adding that for dramatic flair?
Yes, for dramatic effect. So we can't figure out why everyone keeps getting sick. And so the only thing that, you know, we thought could be possible is maybe we had mono.
Right.
You know, because everyone's just been so tired and, you know, constantly ill, you know, the swollen lymph nodes. Olivia broke out in a rash and...
God.
You know, all this crap. And we're just like, what the heck is going on? So we figured Ryan was the one that had been the sickest recently because he had gone through some antibiotics and then got sick again. And so Dr. Grant's just like, well, why don't we just have some blood work done and we'll test him for mono. And then if he tests positive, then we'll just assume the whole family has it. And so we're like, okay. And so I was going to take him after school the next day to get the blood work done. And I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. Yeah. You know, rookie mistake. And
well, first of all, you and I have had so many
oh my God,
blood work things that you don't even think about.
I have been
it would be a dramatic
and prodded thing. And shot and, you know, everything. It's just... Needles don't even scare me anymore. It just is what it is. But then I forgot being a small child, you know, it's the scariest thing that can happen to you.
When you've pushed a human being out of your body, you can pretty much do whatever you want.
Well, when you're pregnant, you're giving blood, it seems like every other week, you know.
It's true. I mean, your body is not your own when you are pregnant. So.
I mean, I remember one time giving like 7 vials and they had me sit there for a minute. And I think she gave me a glass of orange juice because
that's happened to me.
She didn't want me standing up right away because she's just like, no, we did take quite a bit of blood today.
You're like, eh.
I'm like, I'll be all right. And they stand up and I'm like, oh.
Well, maybe I'm not.
So anyways, so the night before I told Ryan, I'm like, okay, so tomorrow after school, Dr. Grant wants you to go give some blood to test you for mono. And then his face just got white. And I'm like, what? He's like, what do you mean I have to give some blood? And I'm just like, well, you just have to go to the lab and give just 2 tiny little vials of blood. Yeah. And he's just like, Mom, that's a lot. He's like, is there a needle? And I'm like, yes, there's a needle.
Well, how do you think they get? No, they use leeches, Ryan.
And he's
they
just
use
like,
leeches.
Why can't I just get like a bloody nose and drip it into the, you know, so now he's getting ridiculous. And so the next thing I know, he's watching videos on YouTube about giving blood.
Why would he do that? It's going to be the most harrowing experiences. That's what's on YouTube.
So I put him to bed and he's rubbing his forehead, you know, with his hand. And I'm like, Ryan, I'm like, you need to stop worrying. It's not that big of a deal. It really isn't. I'm like, you won't even know. So he couldn't sleep the whole night. He was so upset about, you know, this blood test. And so I pick him up from school. He's walking to the car and his like fists are clenched.
Oh, for God's sake. God forbid if some real thing happens to him in his life, how's he going to respond?
I don't know. You know, and Olivia can't stop talking about it because she's nervous. And I'm like, what are you nervous for?
What is going on? You know what?
So
talk about privilege.
She's upset. Because she's like, Mom, 2 vials is a lot of blood. And I'm like, why are you even worried? I'm like, it's not even happening to you.
God. You know? I'd be like, you should be so lucky.
So we're sitting at the lab and, you know, short of sweating, he's just sitting there staring off into space, you know.
When did you start getting mad at any point?
No, because, you know, I could tell he was obviously nervous. And so I wasn't angry. I felt kind of bad that I should have just not told him the night before. I should have drove over there and told him.
You should have said, you have to get some lab work done. Let's go.
Yeah. And then walked him into the lab. What?
Right.
And just, you know, said, you've got to get lab work. And then, you know, not giving him an option to freak out.
Right. No permission to freak out on this on this venture.
So they call his name, and so we start walking in there, and then he sits down, and they take us into like the family room, where there's a lot of space. So Olivia's sitting in the chair. I'm standing like up against the wall next to Ryan.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, he starts clenching his jaw and he starts breathing really heavily. He's like,
wow. He's really worked himself up.
I think he's having a bit of a panic attack.
Well, it does run in the family.
And I look over to Olivia and she's got tears streaming down her face.
What? God.
And Olivia's like, I'm going to go back in the waiting room. And I'm like, sit in that chair. So,
you're not going anywhere.
Because she's too small. I'm not going to send her out into the main waiting room.
No.
And she's like, I don't want to watch. I'm like, then don't look.
Oh my God. See, this is about the point when our mom would be like, you need to straighten up and stop being ridiculous.
There was no time because the lady had the needle and she was some Asian lady. She's like, oh, it won't hurt. Don't worry.
God.
So
that's insane.
Ryan has, his one arm down and then he's got his left arm like kind of up in the air with his fist clenched.
Yes.
So I grabbed the fist clench and I'm like, Ryan, it's okay. I'm like, don't worry. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, don't watch him. Look at me. And
yeah.
He looked at me and then she's like, okay, just a little pinch. And he's like, his eyes start shaking. And so,
wow.
He was just terrified. And then
I can't believe this.
Then so it was the little poke. And then all of a sudden his eyes relax. And then he's like, and he starts laughing.
God.
Because he realized it was not even that bad.
No.
I don't know what he was expecting.
We build it up, we build up the unknown in our brains so much that we think the absolute worst is going to happen. And then when it happens, you're like, oh, that's it? I mean, it's nothing, It's
so
just
she takes
nothing.
like the two skinniest little vials I've ever seen.
Tiniest of vials, right?
And half of it's filled with that yellow waxy stuff at the bottom.
Right.
She didn't do the greatest job of transitioning between the two vials.
That takes some finesse. That does take finesse.
And so, he's like, ow, like that did hurt. And so,
yeah, well, the jostling can do that. Yeah.
Some people are much better at it than others. But then she took the needle out and put the little cotton ball on it right away and taped it down. And she's like, all right, that's it. You're all done. And he's like, that's all? And
well, what did you think this was going to be, like a marathon?
I don't know if he thought there was going to be like a scalpel involved or, I don't know what he thought.
Well, it's just so weird. Children, first of all, I didn't even think, why would you can find YouTube videos of people giving blood?
I think you can find YouTube videos of anything.
I had no idea. I'm not, listen, I have found since the day that you found the woman giving birth to a baby in
the stream.
Yeah. She literally hadn't even delivered the baby all the way and a fly landed on its head.
You know, right?
I believe you can find pretty much anything. Well, I'm glad that he survived his bloodletting, God forbid.
Olivia continued to cry for a good 5 minutes after we left.
Because it's all about Olivia, of course. This is all about her.
She was so shaken by the experience. And then she asked if we could go to ice cream because,
we need a treat.
We made it through the experience. And I said no because, I'm like, we're just going home. She's like, well, after I got my shot, we got to get ice cream. I'm like, we're not doing it, Olivia. Just get over it.
You were 6. That was different.
You got a flu shot and that thing went straight through your arm practically. So
it was like a saber.
Jeez. Well, her arm is, no bigger than a twig.
It's tiny. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I've been meaning to tell you, but I had a dental cleaning last month and I have very sensitive teeth. Yes. I know that's not surprising, but I do. And every time I go, it's like, I feel like I'm walking myself into torture. It's like, why, I just don't want my teeth to fall out. So I go and I do it, but really, really hate it. And luckily the lady's really nice. So the last time it was very painful. And here's the thing that I realized about medical. You have to be super proactive. If you're not comfortable, if there's something that you want, they don't suggest it to you, even if they know you're uncomfortable. So I said, we took a break and I said, hey, is it ever possible to get, I don't know, Novocaine while you do this? And she goes, oh yeah, absolutely. And I said, in my mind, I'm thinking, did it ever even cross your mind to suggest it so that maybe we would get through this without me being a big baby and you having to stop every 10 minutes? Because why wouldn't we do that? It seemed to me that if it was me, I would be like, we can give you Novocaine to get through this really quick. I mean, wouldn't that seem obvious? But apparently
maybe it's
not.
because it's not typical is why people don't suggest it.
I asked her that, and she said that people absolutely do. And I go, then what are we doing here? Like, why do I have to ask? I was surprised. I can understand now why people just say, take out my teeth and give me a bridge or give me dentures, because this is arduous. It is tedious. But I refuse to lose teeth over anything. I mean, no, I'm not doing it. So I'm doing this instead, and it's painful and difficult, but I have all my teeth.
Yeah. Well, who else had that was Stephanie, our sister's ex-husband, Joel. He used to have to get the gum because I think he had gum disease too.
I talked about it. I said, where did I go wrong? Because I floss and brush all the time. And
he said, it's genetics.
It's genetic. He said it's absolutely genetic. And he looked at my records. I had sign of gum disease when I was 15.
Dad had horrible teeth.
He did. And our mom does too, by the way.
Mom has just mom's teeth just fall out. I don't know if there's anything.
That's gum disease.
But Dad's teeth are super soft. And so
yes.
We always got cavities. It didn't matter what we did. We just got cavities all the time.
Indeed. It's true. I don't know. But what I do know is that if I'm going to do it the hard way, then I need to be numbed. And it's the same thing like when I had my hospital stay a few years ago, I said, hey, is there any way I can change the sheets? Oh my God, of course, yes. And I'm like, why? But then it reminded me, it's like, this is why you have to be your own advocate when you're doing medical work. Or like when I went through that experience with Mackenzie and I had to go back and demand, you have to be more proactive. And I don't know if it is because they're overwhelmed with so many patients. And so they just don't have time to think about it, or if it's always been this way and we kind of just accept and go along with it. I'm not sure. And here's the other thing. A nurse came in and thought I had had a hysterectomy. And I said, did I have a hysterectomy? I was like, did I? Because I'm like, what do you mean? I got nervous. I'm like, okay, I feel, but they don't cut you open anymore for hysterectomies. And so I'm like, did I get one? I don't know. Did I get one as well?
God.
It was not ideal. It was not the best stay I'd ever had at a hospital, but I don't stay at I try real hard to get out of them as quickly as possible. So, okay. So speaking of having children, we usually talk about a little phase of parenting at this time. And I thought we could talk about our experiences with the terrible twos. Mm-hmm. It's been quite a while for me, obviously, but I was curious about why kids are so terrible at 2 and 3. And apparently they become vocal, they become aware that they might have a choice in the matter, and they have opinions that they start to develop. And so when you tell them what to do and they scream at you, no, that's the terrible twos. And if you tell them, if they become defiant and you say, no, we have to do this, like we're leaving the park or we're leaving Chuck E. Cheese, and they have a full-blown meltdown.
Yes.
It's because they're like, no, I have rights. Right. That's what they're thinking. And that's why they're so awful at 2 and 3. Shockingly, Mackenzie, who is a hornet, was really easy at 2 and 3. She never had the meltdowns. My son, the grandest of meltdowns you've ever seen. All the time. I had to leave grocery stores with baskets full of food.
Oh my God.
Because first of all, I'm not a big fan of public spankings or anything. I'm not one of those people.
Yeah.
Back in the old days, you could go to a grocery store and down any aisle, there's someone getting spanked back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
I never did that. Malia was very difficult at 2 and 3. Screaming, anger. But Kenzie of all of them didn't, shockingly. How about you?
I'm trying to think. I don't particularly remember them being extraordinarily difficult, like on a daily basis. I just remember instances.
Yes.
Where, it was just a full blown meltdown. And it typically had to do with just exhaustion
Yeah, or hunger.
Or something like that. Like, I remember one time leaving John's Incredible Pizza place with Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
He was over my shoulder and he was just had his hand thrust towards the door of John's Incredible Pizza.
Yes.
And he wasn't even making sense. He was just like, you know, making these sounds, you know, the tears were streaming down his face. And I put him in his, you know, I was trying to talk to him, but at that point he was hearing nothing.
No, they're so outraged.
I put him in his car seat and I don't even think we had left the parking lot before he was like asleep. He was just so, you know, beyond the point of exhaustion because he had played so hard.
When they are that obstinate and angry, you try to reason with a 2-year-old. Why do we do this? I don't know why. But I think it's because they're verbal and you think, they can understand this. If I just speak it a million times, they'll understand. Or it's like, this is the time period where they start sneaking into the kitchen to try to get their favorite cookie or a juice or something. I can't tell you how many times Malia would just come in with a Capri Sun in her mouth. I'm like, where did you get that? She's like, what? I was thirsty. And it's like, no. We're not doing this. You're 2. You don't get, or 3. You don't get to just grab whatever you want anywhere. And then you take it from them. They're like, how dare you, sir? I know. You know, they get all attitude. I found it comical.
Yeah, it was funny.
I think it's just because I'm a disciplinarian for sure. I mean, my kids would tell me that I was horrible, but I found every phase hilarious. I don't know why. I just did. I probably made them more angry, but I would like try not to laugh at their outrage. I'm like, oh, you're triggered. Okay, let's do this. You are so dark. You know, and they're just like, how dare you? I am a human.
I do remember Olivia, like, you know, throwing her body to the ground, you know, like that accomplished something.
Yes. Well, just the anger and frustration.
I remember with Tyler, your son, that you're right, he was horrible. He would hit himself in the head.
Oh my God.
Or he would bang his head on the floor. I don't know why he did those things.
Our mother was like, Jamie, I think you need to have him reviewed. I think there's something wrong with him psychologically. She was so concerned. She goes, he keeps hitting his head on things. I'm like, he's angry because he's 2 and he can't get what he wants. This is what they do.
So he thinks by hurting himself, it'll, you know.
You know, he's always been an introvert. He's never been the outwardly violent boy. You know, he was the opposite. So he would hurt himself instead of hurting others.
He always made me think of like Bruce Banner or like the Hulk. Like I just waited for this giant body to rip out of these clothes.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Yeah. So I wish because I know I have seen some outraged 2-year-olds or 3-year-olds where I go, God, I'm glad that's not my child.
Yeah, I think but see, that's just the thing is like, I think there's a proper way to handle it. And, you know, I never would subject someone to my child's, you know, bad behavior. You know, I'm just, you know, I don't like those parents that just keep shopping and they're just like, well, you can do whatever you want. I'm going to keep doing what I'm going to keep doing. And I'm like, would you please not do that? It's uncomfortable for the rest of us.
Well, and the screaming, like, you know, what's funny is now I give the look, but I don't look at the parent. I look at the child.
Yeah.
So like I was at the store, this was like a couple weeks ago, and there was like a 2 or 3-year-old sitting in the basket, just having a field day with the screaming and the temper tantrum. And the woman had 2 or 3 other kids with her who were walking and older, like 6 and 7. And the 7-year-old kept trying to placate the 3-year-old by giving it things.
Right.
Like, here, maybe this will make it just stop crying. Because the mother was completely deaf, apparently. Couldn't hear or see a thing. And she's just browsing the Magnolia section of Target. Like, oh, this is a cute little thing. And I don't like that either, personally. I don't like ignoring. It's like, okay, obviously this is a normal thing. And you're like, I have to just pretend it's not happening. But when I see the kids starting to try to placate, I'm like, you need to step in, mother, and need to do something.
Well, obviously it's making your own children uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. Well, and it's loud. I mean, the kid is screaming. So I'm walking by and I see this big round mouth screaming at the top of its lungs in Target. And the mom just messy ponytail looking at pillows. And I get it. I've been there. But I look at the little children and then I stare at the baby and I just look at the baby like, shut up. Yeah. I mean, I didn't say shut up, but I just give it the look like, Are you kidding me right now with your big mouth? And the kid stops. They always stop and look at you like, oh, you don't want to take my shit right now? And it's like, no, I don't want to. It's like all these verbal statements are being made just by staring at the baby. And sometimes I'll smile at it and it will go, oh, and it will take it out of it.
Yeah.
It's happened a couple of times.
Well, and that's the sad part is, you know, as much as it's throwing a tantrum, it's a cry for attention, you know?
Or just outrage and anger for being in the basket or whatever.
But it needs some sort of attention, you know? It needs, whether it needs a nap or it needs, you know, to not be where it is. And when you have kids, unfortunately, they do come first. And so...
Yeah, especially when they're that little... You know, that's the thing that's really hard. Very rarely have I had to go to a store with a tired or angry child where I had to get it done and just deal with it. Everybody has that happen. And so you just do it. But I can't tell you how many Matchbox cars Tyler got. Try to just to keep him quiet for 10 minutes so I can get milk and bread, you know?
Mm-hmm. They're ticking time bombs. You never know when they're going to go off, especially when they're really small, like babies. Because when I was breastfeeding both of them, I'm like, okay, after I was done feeding, like I set everything up like before I started feeding them
to get all prepared.
And then I'm just like, okay, as soon as I'm done, I'm like, I've got 45 minutes to an hour. And I'm like, let's go. And then I would run out of the house and, you know, buy whatever I had to buy or go get gas or whatever it was that I had to do.
Actually, what's great, Paula, for you is nowadays, if you were to fast forward and have your babies now, everybody delivers everything.
That's true.
You wouldn't have to go anywhere. You could be like, oh my God, the grocery store are just at my door.
God, do you know how hard it is to go places with a newborn?
It's horrible. It sucks. But we do.
They require so much crap. That's the thing I don't understand. Something so small, you have to have like bags and car seats and giant strollers. And
I know, it's so true. And you think, oh, I don't need any of that stuff. So you try it without. You're like, oh my God, it would be so great right now if I had a giant stroller with a lid and, you know, hooks and, you know, coffee cup holders. And that's why you all go out and buy them, because they're the perfect thing.
And then before you know it, they take a shit, and then you gotta go into those horrible bathrooms.
But if you have that stroller, you can just do it right there in their stroller.
Yeah, I guess you can, but
I did. You can lay them down flat. It's awesome. It's been so long since I've needed a stroller. Oh my God, crazy, just crazy. Anyway, but I miss the terrible twos. I really do, because they're tiny, and for the most part, they're great.
I think the terrible twos it's a hard time for them because they're, you know, it's hard for them to express themselves, but they definitely have like opinions and feelings. So
yes, I think that's why I find it endearing. I never got frustrated. I think it's because I knew they were just these little tiny humans who have no concept of why they're so angry, other than they know they have rights, God damn it, and they want us to know. And so I always found it kind of sweet. But you know what? I have come to find that we are very different than the average person. And so we look at things very differently. But I was so pleased to have children that I just didn't even care. Yeah. You know what I mean? I let it roll off my back like water on a duck's back. I just didn't care. So, although I'm not saying they didn't piss me off, because they absolutely did.
Oh, yes.
Anyway,
yes.
Okay, so we need to move on to our H-Ugly and Awkward Moments of the week, but we're doing the Awkward as Youths edition.
Oh, okay.
Every once in a while, we have stories submitted that they were awkward when they were kids. And so this is kind of, we had one last year where somebody submitted a story that when they were 9 years old and playing hide and seek, they hid behind a curtain and they pushed their butt out and they broke the window with their butt.
Oh my God.
That kind of thing. Yeah, awkward moments. And it was at like a family party, so like everybody was like, oh my God, your butt broke the window. That kind of thing. So these are two stories as children, awkward moments. The first one I really related to, not because I've ever experienced it, but I can absolutely see me doing this as a kid.
Okay.
When I was in kindergarten, I was 5. As was the custom at the time, a friend had a birthday party at a local pizza place. This place had 2 rooms for parties. And of course, when this party was there was another party for a kid from a different school. Little 5-year-old me walked into the pizza place and walked straight into the other kid's room. Instead of being in the room with my friends, I was stuck in a room of kids that I didn't know, and they didn't know me either. Somehow, she made it through the entire party in that room, even giving the kid I didn't know the birthday present that I brought for the friend.
Oh my God. Where was her mother?
You know, this must have been old school where they're like, all right, go on in.
Like late 70s or something.
Yes, absolutely. When nobody was worried about child molesters in the bathroom.
They just dropped them off.
By the time the party was over, my mom came looking for me. When she realized I was in the wrong party, she talked to the kid's parents and got my gift back so I could give it to the actual friend.
Oh my gosh.
If only my family would stop bringing this up, I could forget about it.
Now, how is that her fault?
Because she didn't speak up. She was like, where's my friend? They'd be like, what? I mean, come on.
5 years old is young.
I don't know. You would think, at the very least, you would think she would have started crying because she didn't know anybody, right? How do you go through an entire party giving the gift to the kid that you don't know and not saying a word?
I wonder if she recognized any of the other friends at the next party, or if they just truly kept them separate. I don't know.
It's just very awkward. It's an awkward thing.
Funny.
I know, right?
It's really funny. That kind of reminds me of the time when I brought Olivia to school in pajamas because I thought it was pajama day.
No, you didn't.
The teacher looked at me and she's like, okay. And I'm just like, isn't today pajama day? And she's like, no, but that's all right.
You're like, no. And you're like, shit, I got to go to work too. I don't even have time for this.
I did. I was just like, okay, well, and I was already running late. And so...
That's hilarious. That's so hilarious.
I felt so bad.
Okay. This one, we've all encountered this experience in school as kids. Not maybe personally, but in 4th grade, we were doing a class project that involved a panel of students sitting at desks in a semicircle with the rest of the class, including myself, sitting on the floor in the center. Mm-hmm. Someone said something that made me start laughing hysterically, and as that was happening, I farted loud. And that made me laugh harder, which made me fart more. Oh my God, I can't even. Before long, I was rolling on the floor laughing and farting in the middle of the class, totally unable to control myself. Eventually, I pulled it together and the teacher was staring at me with her eyes wide open and her jaw dropped and eventually asked, "Are you all right?" She's like, that memory is going nowhere.
If I was a teacher, I'd be hysterical.
Oh my God. Well, and I assume this is a girl because only a girl would not be able to.
Oh, of course.
Forget
a guy
it.
Wouldn't give a crap.
No.
That's like an everyday occurrence for a guy.
Exactly. They're fart machines. I don't understand it.
I don't know how they get so much gas.
They are the gassiest humans. I don't understand. I mean, maybe women are too, but we're just ladylike about it. I'm not sure.
Or we just, know how to spread our butt cheeks to where it just comes out as air.
We know how to open the anal passage so there's not sound.
I can't wait to read you my Valentine's Day gifts. They're so funny.
Okay, that's for Sunday show. Yeah, we're gonna. Yes, well, I can't wait either. Anyway, so those are the 2 H-Uglee and Awkward Moments, Youth Edition. Youths.
Oh my gosh. And that is very true for youths. It does not stop. Olivia told me, she's like, every time we run track, Mom, she's like, I start farting when we run. And she's like, and I can't stop. And she's like, I try and run in between people so that way no one's behind me and no one's in front of me. So that way,
so she crop dusts everybody.
So no one hears me. But she says it happened the other day and Cole was right behind me.
So you crop dusted Cole.
I'm like, well, why don't you stop? She's like, I can't.
Great. She's going to be one of those people.
I'm like, well, we'll make sure you don't get into cross country or anything like that.
Yeah. So maybe track isn't for you.
But
that's hilarious. Anyway, all right. Well, that's all I have. Do you have anything?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
So thank you, everybody, for joining us. As Jamie mentioned, on Sunday, we're going to talk about Valentine's Day gifts for him. Mm-hmm. They're going to be strange.
Okay.
Because we usually talk about practical gifts. And so this time we're going to talk about non-practical gifts.
I also found, if you were looking for a Valentine, I found some very unusual dating sites that are not Match.com.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yes.
If you're still shopping, though, and you don't like the gifts that we talk about, you can always go to uglytruth.com and click on our Amazon button. They have nice things there. Mm-hmm. And you can also go to lipandclip.com and buy some Avon gifts. Have a good rest of your week, and we will see you on Sunday. Bye.
Thanks for listening and sharing the show. See you next time on The Ugly Truth.